Hey guys, welcome to another LivinginSAtv video. David here, and today guys, we're gonna see the fanciest, most cutting edge school right here in Centennial, guys. Don't you believe me? Stay tuned, because once again this video will blow your mind. So look at this. This is the view from Centennial. That's how well positioned it is.
My name is Sean Fuchs. I am the CEO and founder of Centennial Schools, and I'd like to show you around the campus today to show you what the most relevant school in today is like. Centennial Schools was created to be the most relevant school for 2022 when we were founded and beyond. And you can see when you step into the lobby area, the school is not a traditional school at all. We're actually creating our own legacy within a very modern space. As a historical note, in our lobby area we have a stack of encyclopedias, and very often students will come and ask, what on earth are those things? And actually that used to be, for many of our teachers and parents, that used to be our Google. So students actually get to understand that the encyclopedias played a very big role in our own education, but really at Centennial Schools we've moved way past a book filing and an analog teaching style. So we're going to go across to the fitness center first. And our fitness center, we built into the campus so that our students in their curriculum actually come down and have fitness. We have qualified coaches that come in and take the session. The session will focus on core strength. The section will focus on the individual's ability. And again, we gamify it so that it actually becomes fun, and learning to be fit is inbred as a part of your health. So again, remember the old adage that we grew up with, healthy body, healthy mind. That's exactly what we're doing here at Centennial Schools. The other thing is that in the afternoon, students can take fitness as an extracurricular sport. That level of fitness is much more intense, and those are the students that are very serious about fitness. One of the other sports that we offer is boxing. A lot of our girls take it up, and they will do that twice a week. So the boxing will be an extracurricular activity as well. All right, so this is our learning hub. This is a grade 7 class, and every single student works off a laptop. I always say to people, when's the last time that you took a piece of paper, you punched it, you put it into a lever arch file, and you put it away? And most parents laugh because they haven't done that in years. And the same way many schools teach like that. So we don't. We partnered with ASUS. Our students get to choose a spec of laptop, and all their work is prepared and put onto the laptop. Microsoft Suite, and we use OneNote in particular. So there's a combination of notebooks and laptops, but their work is also prepared 8 weeks in advance. So any student can access any subject 8 weeks in advance. They can see, what am I doing in 2 weeks' time, period 3 in Mr. Shire's maths class, for example, and everything should be there so that they can see the resources, PowerPoints, video links to YouTube, whatever it is. The Learning Hub is also a dynamic space, so you'll see the Moby chairs that the students are sitting in, and we can ask for a demo. Jamie, just you guys move around and turn into two, so work together, face each other. So immediately collaboration becomes so easy because students can work there. If I wanted to put an additional student there, I could do that. Just move for me over there, and so that we've got 3 of them. And so the teacher can build it up, and depending on how the teachers designed the lesson, that's exactly what happens. And when they're finished, they can then come back into a lecture style where the teacher can then go through work, summarize, and ensure that it works. The other thing you'll notice, we took the teacher desk out of the Learning Hub. So why? Because in traditional environments, most teachers will teach. After 15 minutes, sit down, give the students work from textbooks, and they will then start going through their emails, maybe some online shopping, and now and then do some marking. Whereas our teachers are actually roving facilitators. So they are constantly moving around the class, working with the students, looking, assisting, do you need help, for the full 30 or 45 minutes, depending on the length of the lesson. So the teacher never rests. Our teachers also move around in the middle school. What is the logic? Do I move 220 students every 30, 40 minutes, or do I move 10 teachers? Well, by moving 10 teachers, we actually get to save 5 to 8 minutes per lesson. 8 periods a day, you're saving over an hour of academic time every single day. Let's head off to the chill zone. The chill zone was created because during lockdown in particular, I started noticing the levels of anxiety of students. And what we understood was that schools don't proactively look at student mental health. What tends to happen is they react. So when something happens, then only do you react. So part of the design and the DNA of Centennial schools is that mental wellness is critical. In the morning, every single day, students check in on an app called It's Okay. They will have to list where they are today. How am I feeling? Happy, sad, frustrated? Why? Because you had a bad night's sleep, there's exams, pressure, fight with sibling, whatever it is. And so it gets put into a database. The grade heads at about 10, 11 o'clock each day will examine that, have a look and see and go, hang on, I've got a spike in anxiety with the grade 7 girls, or a particular student has been flagged for certain mental health issues, and immediately we can deal with it. Because in a traditional system, what I have to go to a door, knock on it and say, sir, ma'am, this is how I'm feeling. So here we use technology to actually monitor mental health. The chill zone is a space where students can come to. It's a quiet space. I can listen to my music, just take some time out. It's 1 student per beanbag. And again, Centennial Schools functions on a value-based system. So the discipline is, it works the same as you have at home. Many families at home have a value-based system. Your kids can't just do whatever they want. It's exactly the same here. So 1 student per beanbag, they come in, they respect the space, they respect their peers, mutual respect, absolutely critical foundation of the values of Centennial Schools. Our Creative Hub. So the Creative Hub is one of my most favorite spaces at Centennial Schools. Why? Well, think of it as a student boardroom, just a lot more funkier. Students have to book the space, so they all work on Microsoft, so they'll go to Outlook, they will book their appointment, and what are we teaching them? We're teaching them the soft skills to say, can you just take a boardroom at work? No, because marketing have booked it, or human resources, or the finance department, and the same principle works here. So students will book their space, they've been given a problem-based activity, they have to solve it. The space is big, they are creating, they're debating, they're arguing, they're laughing. The whole purpose is to have fun while they're learning. And this space, if you see a break time before school, after school, even during lessons, if it's been built into the teacher's planning, will be used by the students themselves. We also have a number of these creative hubs around the campus. We try to create as many natural spaces on campus that students could spill out into and enjoy. And so this area here sort of almost reminds you of a picnic area where students can come during their break, before school or after school, and just enjoy their lunches with their friends and socialize. Our student cafe, also known as the 100 Cafe, was designed more based on Starbucks and the business class lounge at the airport. So when you look at it, you see a really relaxing environment. We have 2 fully trained baristas, make a cappuccino with a smiley face, with a teddy bear on it. Again, just lends itself to the creativity. Students can come here in the morning, they can order a cappuccino, they can have breakfast, socialize, play some foosball with their mates, charge their devices, catch up on some homework if they have. And again, the teenagers are social beings. And schools need to create more spaces that actually allow students to socialize. And that, again, that's exactly what we've done at Centennial schools. As we spill out of the cafe, we go into this area which we've actually called Tilly, because the Tilly Terrace, because of Tilly the tree. Tilly the tree is a baobab tree, and historically the baobab tree is tree of knowledge, so it makes sense. So where you see our learning hubs signage, we actually have a baobab tree on the sign indicating the different learning hubs. Again, this is a social area that students can spill into, socialize with their friends, have their lunch, and even in the senior school when students have break, in the senior school, when students have free lessons, they, because of their subject choice, they can come down to the cafe, they can sit in this quad area, and when the lesson's finished, they then head off to their next lesson. So our esports is probably, in fact we know, it's the largest esports certainly on Africa, 300 square meters of absolutely insane gaming space. The esports was designed with different features in mind. So when you come in, you'll see on the right hand side, you will see a casting studio. So students actually learn to shoutcast. What does that mean? It means they commentate on the tournament or game taking place in the gaming lab. The gaming lab, 30-seater, spec'd with a ASUS ROG, Republic of Gaming Equipment, gaming chairs. We designed the tables ourselves. The whole concept was to put a really funky space that when students were here, they actually felt that they were in an esports arena and not a classroom that's just been converted with a couple of computers. So everything from the design, the color, the lighting, the gaming chairs, everything needed to feel that students would be immersed in a gaming world. 30-seater gaming lab, students will come here during school, over and above the CAPS curriculum, where we end up writing the IB exam like most private schools. We also add on additional subjects that really push the skill set of our students. In the computer lab, we do entrepreneurship. Our grade 8s will do a year of entrepreneurship. We partnered with a Canadian organization that's a simulated game. They'll start with a small lemonade stand. They have to design products. They have to look at their finances. How many people do they employ? So real world skills that actually speak to running a business. And so they'll progress throughout the year with bigger businesses, retail businesses, restaurant, clothing store, and ultimately end of the year running as a CEO, where I'm dealing with the marketing department, human resources, finance, doing P&Ls. Again, giving them as close as possible the skill set to actually running a business. Your grade 7s work on the Adobe suite. So all these computers are loaded with Adobe software. They're creating, they're designing, they're making films, they're editing. Skill sets that you need in the 21st century. The grade 9s will do blockchain and crypto. We partnered with an organization called Coined. We've written the curriculum with them. That curriculum gets students, they open wallets, they trade in Bitcoin or in cryptocurrencies. They look at the dangers, they look at how can I use blockchain in my business. So in fact, many of our students will go home and teach their parents about cryptocurrencies. As we move through the esports arena, on my left here, you'll see you've got the sim races. So Xbox, because we're a Microsoft school, so Formula One, Forza, and we actually teach our students how to drive a motor vehicle, simulated clutch, brake, accelerator, gear shift, and students actually learn how to drive a car. We give them a Ford Fiesta. They don't seem to like that. They'd like something a bit more advanced, but nothing wrong with a Ford Fiesta. So when you think of pilots, where does a pilot start? Pilots start in simulators, and the same concept for us is with our students. Our FIFA lounge over here, a bit more of a relaxed area, console driven, students obviously competing in FIFA. And then lastly, the competition arena, which has been set up for spectators to view. So when we're hosting tournaments, and our tournaments eliminate teams, and eventually you've got your quarterfinal, your semi-final, or your final that takes place here. So the current setup you can see is a 5v5. The game that's taking place will then be streamed onto the TVs behind and in the FIFA lounge, and one of the students or a professional caster will be casting from the casting studio, commentating on the game. So very much like a soccer game or a cricket game or a rugby game where you have commentators, you have the same casting onto Twitch or onto YouTube, and your spectators sitting here and cheering their teams on. One of the things that we focus on is with our students. Here we have a student from our grade 6 class, 11 years old, and on Forza with a Ford Fiesta. And once he gets this right, we'll upgrade him somewhere else. So the whole idea is to simulate driving so that students actually learn how to drive. And again, when you think about it, where do pilots start? Pilots start with a simulation. So it's exactly what our students are busy doing.
Okay, so now we're going to the big end. What you driving?
A Valkyrie.
Oh, Valkyrie. Never heard about this one. Scoring from 0 to 100 in what? In 2 seconds?
Probably.
Do you feel any difference between the Fiesta and this one?
Yeah, very.
So is like the aerodynamics?
Yeah.
Look at that. So inspirational.
The concept of putting Centennial schools together was during lockdown, and I knew that we needed to have something that is more relevant, because our education system hasn't changed. Over the last 100 years, it has literally stayed the same. So very often in schools you'll have a student sitting in the same desk that his grandfather and father sat in, whereas at Centennial schools we needed to be more relevant. And the concept was, how relevant can we be in 2022 when we opened? And it made sense to use technology to boost the learning. So technology in gaming, in learning, in whatever we do. And I remember talking to people about the concept of Centennial schools, and they were like, "You're mad. You want to disrupt education. You want to open a new school during lockdown, during a pandemic. It's absolutely insane." And I think that's the exciting thing about South Africans. We're not afraid to take risks, and we take risks. And this risk has paid off. When we opened in January 2022 with 35 students. Next year, after year 3, we will literally be over 350 students. Absolutely insane. And it'll be our first matric group next year, and those matrics are really going to shoot the lights out, but not only leave with a matric certificate, they're going to have a skill set that'll prepare them for university and for their jobs that they're going to go into that actually do not exist right now. And that's what Centennial Schools offers. Most people think that Centennial Schools is purely an esports or a gaming school if you've seen the esports arena, but we also knew that physical activity, besides our fitness center, we needed to put in a multi-purpose court so that our students can have team sports. South Africans really want to be outside and enjoy team sports. So we have a full-size basketball, we have a netball, we have five-a-side soccer, futsal, and our students will compete against other schools during their fitness sessions. They could also come down over here at break. They enjoy this, and they use the facility, and actually a very popular facility for our students. So if they're not on here, they're socializing, they're in the cafe, and we've created spaces around campus that actually lends itself more to a university style feel, as opposed to a very clinical school where you're only allowed to be in certain spaces and you only have certain options. This is our sports court. Our students literally fight to get here, and again, not every single student wants to do it. What I also understood was that less than 40% of your students, in particular middle school and senior school, actually don't do sport. So one, we're encouraging it with the facilities, and we're not also going to waste a lot of space on massive football or cricket fields that are not going to be used or only used by a minority of the students. So on our spaces, we maximize the use and as many students use that as possible. We're going to head up to our senior school. So we were initially on the middle school floor, grades 7, 8 and 9. This is grade 10, 11 and 12. So the two schools operate totally independently, separate breaks, separate starting time, and the whole idea is that you don't have 400 students cramping the campus, and you've now split it into 200, and it makes it so much easier to make use of the facilities, and you actually don't have overcrowding. We'll continue up to the faculty hub. This is a great example of the faculty hub. Teachers are given their own offices. We call them teacher pods. They don't have office desks in the classrooms traditionally, or the learning hubs, because they are roving facilitators. So they have to have their own space, which is their own office. And when you look inside one of these teacher pods, you'll see the teacher has a round desk. Students book consultations. They will book it on Outlook, schedule an appointment, come and meet their teacher, and they always sit around the desk. So it's a round table, collaborative, safe space, right down to the design of the learning hubs. Open, transparent, so not that traditional, this is an office, I'm there, I'm in trouble. You actually want to encourage students to come and be comfortable meeting with their teachers. We haven't done anything here yet. Ultimately, once we clean up, this space is going to be almost a teacher deck. So we'll deck it with a sail kind of for shade and that, and we'll panel these air conditioning units. But I mean, you've got a view of Sandton that's second to none here.
My name is Keegan Null. I am the Esports and gaming teacher at Centennial Schools. What do we teach here? Yes, we do games, but not just for the sake of playing games and having fun. We have gaming studies, essentially to help kids think strategically, critical thinking, how to work in a team, building projects together. Yes, we play different games. We play in Minecraft, for example. I have them build a project together, whether it's building the school itself, or I have them play Fall Guys to play competitively, how to think strategically. And from there, even in esports, we have Fortnite, we have Minecraft, like I said before, we have Valorant, we have CS2 as well.
Good afternoon, my name is Gabriel Detchin and I'm a teacher at Centennial Schools. I'm primarily a social sciences teacher, and a big issue that we find in schools is that social sciences is not very engaging. If you ask most kids how they feel about geography or history, they'll tell you it's boring. So what I try and do is make my lessons as engaging as possible by implementing little pieces of information. Firstly, so that my children can just read like the first line of a passage and have a good idea of what the passage will be about. And I try and make it as visually stimulating as possible, as you can see here. Another thing I like to do is have them play on Minecraft. The reason I do that is because I try and make this information 3D. I try and bring it into their frame of reference and have them interact in these worlds. And what I found is that the students actually enjoy this very much. The biggest thing for me is when I looked at their history marks, they seemed to perform better after we had done the one topic, which was the Kingdom of Mali, in Minecraft first. So I found that this method actually works very effectively. At first it may not seem like it is necessarily working, but then you start to realize that the as the children engage in these spaces, and they actually have to recreate these spaces, that they are now developing their historical skills more. The reason being is that in history, we have to interpret information and data, and we do this through looking at sources, through referencing different sources. Now, if a student is trying to recreate a place that they can no longer physically go and visit, like Kingdom of Mali, although they can go visit that, but what are the chances of us actually going? Then they will recreate it using the historical sources. And I believe that using gamification really takes historical learning to another level.
Hello, my name is Ananda Nyetling. I'm the subject specialist for science here at Centennial Schools. Generally here at Centennial Schools, we aim to focus on game-based learning, also popularly known as GBLS. GBLS stands for Game-Based Learning and Science, which is a hot topic these days, and it is the cornerstone of our educational model here at Centennial Schools. We aim to take a non-authoritative approach, as well as trying to make it as interactive and obviously as fun as possible for our students. Because if you're not having fun in science, then science is just boring, and boring isn't what we do here at Centennial Schools. We try to aim to make our lessons as interactive as possible using a multitude of applications such as Core for level design, as well as Minecraft for measuring sizes of populations. Based off of my experiences in the past decade of my teaching experience, looking at traditional high school education, it is flawed, and we here at Centennial Schools aim to bridge the gap between modern society and traditional schooling. Because if you look at tertiary educational institutions, when you move from high school to university, then what will happen is with Centennial Schools, you are able to think more independently because you have such a wider range of experiences, as well as the ability to think critically and to problem solve.
So that was the tour of Centennial Schools, and I certainly hope that we'll see you come and visit us. If you need to find us, the easiest is always just Google centennialschools.co.za or find us on one of our social media channels. We have over 165,000 followers on our social media channels, so I'm really confident that you'll find us somewhere.
And there you go, guys. I hope you guys know about the fanciest school in South Africa, top notch and cutting edge technology right here in Centennial, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, share and destroy that like button, and we will see you in the next LivinginSAtv video.